Okay, here we are. Hey, Booba. Yes, DXY, I wouldn't say it's a bull, but just before this session, it started spiking up. Interesting times, no big news release. US is running like crazy. In fact, the market is a little bit crazy. We were just talking here in the office. We're like, why did it shoot up? Right? And one of the traders here closed out his Kiwi dollar for 1%. So just before that big spike on the dollar. So that was good. That was a good trade. Hey Nick, how you doing? Hey Diana, good morning. Val is on, so Val's back. Diana was asking, where's Val? We haven't seen her for a couple of days. So Val's back. Give me a second. Had to close a couple of doors. Good morning, Angel Case. How are you doing? Good to see everyone. Good to see all the regulars back in action. Give it a minute or two before we get started. Well, Bel's back and feeling a lot better, so it's good to have you back, Bel. Is the dollar negatively correlated to the Chinese yuan? I I don't actually look at the Chinese yuan, but let me just have a quick check on that. Okay, I'll have to look at it when we bring up the charts. I actually used to get a lot of questions about the Chinese yuan, the Hong Kong dollar, and all that. So I should put it onto, being in Asia, we should put it onto part of the watch list, but I haven't got around to it so far. One more minute and we shall get going. All right. Hey Lily. Hey BL. Chinese PPI, CPI down. Just wondering. Okay. Let me have a look at Forex Fracture when we get started. There are some things to share on that. Hey Minal. All right, let's get going. So again, thank you all. Welcome back to the daily market analysis where we get through the fundamentals, what happened before, what's coming up. We do have a big news, or we had a big news yesterday. We do have a big news coming up today as well. So we'll get through that, a couple of things to get through on that. Technicals, we look at the way price is moving. The trading community was buzzing last night as we were all somewhat trading together, right? We were sharing our trade ideas, so somewhat trading together. So I was very happy to see that. And then with that put together, looking at fundamentals and the technicals, we will look for some possible trade setups. I think that the focus today will be mostly on the pound dollar, right, with the Bank of England and their interest rates decision to be released. But with just before this session, even 2 minutes before this session, the dollar index spiked to the upside, reversed a lot of trade setups that I was going to share with you guys. So we'll look through and see whether we can identify any updated possible setups. Okay, if you're new to the session, big welcome again. Please help me out. Click on that rocket ship button on TradingView. Click on the thumbs up button on YouTube. Helps with the algorithm, helps us get found. If you have any trading related questions at any point in time, please put it into the chat. Let me know. I'll be happy to help you check on any particular pairs or instruments that we'd like to look at. Any trade setups that you are looking at as well, I'll be happy to give you my points of view. The regulars know the drills. If you haven't already, do make sure you jump onto the free trading community. The link is there on YouTube and also on TradingView. Absolutely free to join. Now that we have a good trade setup based on dollar index latest move it made, yeah, I think a lot of it was right at that resistance level. The current move, just need to see whether it's going to be sustained or whether it's just that start of Europe session that we see, or starting of Europe session that we see a big spike and then maybe that retrace. So let's have a look at it. Right, as we go through the charts and look at analysis and possible setups, the quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence, because the contents of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, and your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So what happened last night? So it looks like it's still sustained. Okay. Chinese CPI. So the question from Gen B was about whether the dollar index is negatively correlated to the Chinese yuan, and also whether, wondering because of the CPI and PPI number. Hope I don't get flagged for this, but I would always take a big pinch of salt when I look at a CPI number from the Chinese Bureau of Statistics. Okay, wouldn't take the number too much into consideration because it's coming from the Chinese Bureau of Statistics. Previously, it did have that tendency to look somewhat manipulated. Not saying that it still is, but it had that look of it. So that's one reason why I kind of discount that data. Another one is that I see I think there's a Chasing index that comes out. That seems to have a lot more direct correlation with how price moves. Seems to be a trusted data more. Okay, so I'll highlight that when I see that next time around, because it's going to take a while to look for that data. But once I see that, I'll put it into the group for you guys. So I still can't figure out why. I still haven't figured out why we've just seen the dollar, and I'll show you on that 1 minute time frame. Right, pretty much at 2:30 shot up, and then we saw the big move there just before the close of the hour, and then now continuing to the upside. Okay, so I still haven't seen the reason why dollar has pushed up. The only news that came out within this time frame in the last 16 minutes was apparently Yellen said that the debt default would hurt the US international leadership. So wait, dollar index debt default will hurt, but yet we're seeing the dollar spike up. I wouldn't say that it would be because of this news. Funnily enough, CBA did say that the dollar is likely to fall a bit further near term. That could be one reason why we see the dollar shooting up. Right? What I tend to see is that when a big party makes a comment about any direction, we see a reverse happen. Just a little bit of a thing to share, but I don't think this is the reason as well. Okay, so most likely it is a retrace, right? Not a retrace, it's a correction. And then I think that it could just hit there and turn back down. Why is it shooting up? Or what we saw here last night was that we had the CPI data release year-on-year. CPI year-on-year release last night for the US was 5%, expected 5%. I think I was telling you guys 4.8 to 4.9. It came out at 4.9. That's actually despite it being a red number, most people would say, oh, red number should be bad news. That's actually going to signal or should signal that inflation growth in the US is slowing down. Inflation growth in the US is slowing down, which leads to reinforcing the idea that the FOMC or the Federal Reserve is likely to pause or to support their decision to pause further rate increases at the current from the current level that they did last week. Okay, so that's why we saw the dollar at that time, 8 to 9 o'clock. What time was it? It got released at 8:30. So at 8 o'clock, it shot down, right? It had a big downward move. Didn't come as low as we expected, so I'll take that one away for now. Came down to that 101.20, almost 101.20 level, spiked back up, came back down, and then just right now shooting up again. Okay, so I'm still not. Why I say that I'm considering about the sustainability of this upward move is because of that 61.8% level there. Okay, so you saw that on the 9th of May, it came very close, went back down again. Last night, spiked up, came back down again. Right now, actually came up, tapped 61.8 at that 101 almost 101.90 level, and then showing a bit of a tail right now. Okay, so I'm not, unless it breaks above 61.8 and then that 102 level, then I would say it's a sustained move to the upside. Looks like it's a spike up and then it might retrace back down again. But that's what happened last night with the CPI news. Dollar weakened, and if I did this, you see why it retraced, right? So the dollar weakened massively, closed the hour right outside the Bollinger Band. Next moment, came back up again, right? Came back into the Bollinger and started trading back down again. Okay, so that's one reason I was sharing this with you guys in the community, where we saw this breakout and we said, hey, just watch out. It's going to retrace before you jump into a trade on that continuation. So that was the CPI data last night. Not a big surprise, but we actually saw quite a bit of a movement there. Moving on to today, bunch of news, but the main focus is tonight, 7 p.m. Pound dollar with their interest rate decision, or Bank of England with their interest rate decision, was a 4.25%. They're expecting a 25 basis point rate hike to take it to a 4.5%. Okay, so they're expecting a 25 basis point to take it to 4.5. The question here, or the question for trading this, will be, is this going to be the end of rate hikes to come from the Bank of England? They started, if I'm not wrong, the Bank of England started increasing rates earlier than the US. They started increasing rates earlier than the ECB. And they're still increasing rates. The US has actually slowed or paused already. The ECB, although they hiked rates, they are considering that there is some scope or some possibility to slow down on further rates increases. Okay, so is the Bank of England going to take the hint or follow the lead from the US and also the ECB and possibly comment about a slowdown or pause in future rates? I think that you can see the last time round they did 25. In February, they surprised markets with a 50 basis point rate hike. Okay, so this time round, most likely at 25. There is talk that they could get to 4.75%, but I think the commentary about a pause or a I don't think they can slow down anymore. A pause on further rate increases could come up in this meeting, right? And then the next thing to look out for is also at this voting numbers. 702 means that the first number is how many members voted to increase rates. Is it going to stay at 702, or could we see further descent? Could we see a 603? Right? Could we see a 603? That means maybe one member could swing, instead of voting for a rate hike, could swing to a holding of rates. So the third number is holding rates. Okay, if we see either or the report or during the press conference and there's comments about a pause on further rate increases, then we're going to see we could see massive downside for the pound dollar. All right, I've been sharing with you guys about the pound dollar. Why is this still there? Take that away. Okay, we've been sharing with you guys about pound dollar since this week, right? We said it's going to come up to this level. I'm super surprised myself at this. Came up to this 1.2680 to 1.2660 level, and we're looking for it to reverse. Did exactly that. So right now, I think that if the dollar continues to strengthen, we'll see that drop. If we see any comments about a pause or any comments about a slowdown or a voting on the Bank of England, then we could see further downside on the pound dollar. Okay, thank you, Buba. He said my CPI prediction was correct. Hi, Lydia. Hi, Darfuk. Trader X, Aussie dollar will be a swing sell based on daily for corrective structure. TP1 will be daily low. Yes. Yep, I think that. I'll share with you about the dollar index. Just want to check. Are you guys seeing? Because when I'm looking at YouTube, it shows it's super blurry. Is it blurry for you guys? Trading view is nice and sharp. Good afternoon. Okay, looks like it should be fine. Okay. So it's just my computer. Okay, don't worry about it. So that's the big news for tonight. Bank of England with their rates decision. And then after that, we do have some PPI, core PPI and PPI numbers to be released for the US. What is the PPI number? It is the change in price of finished goods and services sold by producers. Right? It's a producer price index. We had the consumer price index yesterday. This is the producer price index. Looking at this, I'm a little bit surprised that we're expecting it to go from a minus 0.1 to a 0.2. So we're looking at producer prices climbing up, or they're expecting producer prices to climb up, and they're expecting PPI to go from a minus 0.5 to a 0.3. A little bit surprising that CPI was down, but yet they're expecting PPI to climb, because it's very unlikely you're going to see PPI go against CPI, right? Because CPI is one of the part of PPI, or PPI is part of CPI. How much they charge is going to relate to how much people pay. So I'm a little bit surprised at this number. I think that we might see a little bit of an upset here, right? We might see a little bit of an upset here for the US. So I'm still thinking that we're going to see some downside on the dollar. I'm not too concerned about the unemployment claims because, as usual, it is a weekly number, right? It is a weekly number, so not too focused. I don't think it's going to move prices too much. The main thing will be the Bank of England and the pound dollar. Lydia, yes, I know. Pound dollar and euro, pound yen and euro yen. I will get to that shortly. Okay. So bringing this back here, dollar still shooting up, right? Still shooting up. Now looking like it's trying to break above this 61.8 fib retracement level. I can't. I'm just trying to figure out why it's doing that. No news, right? No news on that. It looks like it's a technical rebound or technical retrace. What I would say is that we could see this because of the way it's moving. I am still looking for that downside, so I would say that it could trade up to that resistance of 102, but I would be looking for it to come back down to 101.60, right? Yeah. So I think it could come up, it could break above 61.8, test that 102 level, and then after that trade back down. If I zoom out, you can see that as much as it broke out of this area, we're back in that zigzaggy range between 101.60 and 102, right? Which we saw in mid-April all the way through to almost the end of April. A couple of weeks was right in that area, broke out, and then came back in. So I think that it's back in that range again. A breakout, if it sustains above 102, then 102, I wouldn't put this there, I'll take that away. I'd say 102.40 will be that next near-term resistance level. Okay. In regards dollar rising, is there a market gap at 101.90 possibly filling that? Let me, you're talking about, oh, okay. Talking about that one there. That happened on the 3rd of May. It is the 11th. It could very well do that. If it does, it's not that far away. It's only about just under 10 pips away. So it would still hold, I would still hold that view that we could see this trade up, hit that level, and turn back down. Okay, so I would say that today being the 11th, so a good spot there, Peter. And I somewhat agree with that. Dollar index spiking up. Look for rejection of 102 to test 101.60 again. All right, there we go. So looking at that for the dollar, I think that would be a fair view. Okay. Next up, looking at the Kiwi dollar. All right, so the trader sitting with me right in front of me right now, giving me faces. He got in at 0.6345 last night, shot up, came back down, went to break even, shot up, and then he just closed out his trade. I think it was at 0.6370 thereabouts. 1%. Well done. Okay, so that trade didn't trigger. It failed to break above that resistance. Right now, coming back down to that trend line on the Kiwi dollar. I think what could happen here, so this is, we can look at that, right? So just updating this level, and it makes sense. We see a very good big confluence here. We have that trend line. With the support level, we have 23.6 right there. Good morning, M Leader. Good to see you. Okay, I think that if the dollar continues to shoot up and get to that 102.40 level, then we're going to see a big downside on the Kiwi. But given our expectation that it could come up here, hit and turn down, then maybe what would happen on the Kiwi dollar will be that. right? Comes down, breaks that trend line, gets supported at 0.6315 and also that 23.6% level, and then bouncing back up. So I would say again, looking at different scenarios, you could be looking to buy, right? If it comes down, bounce off this support level, you could be looking at a 50 pip take profit, a tight stop loss, not more than 20 pips, a 1:2.5 to the upside there on the Kiwi dollar, looking for it to bounce up. Okay, so I would say 6320, 20 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. 6320, 20 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. Okay, on dollar weakness. And it looks like it's still very early days, but it looks like it might sit there and might be a bit slower, but it'll come up to that resistance level. So I'll still hold that view. Okay, then looking at the Aussie dollar, right? That trade, it went exactly almost as we planned, came up, tested that resistance and turned down. Didn't manage to get into this. I was preparing for the session, so I didn't get into this trade towards the downside. Let me know if you did get into the Aussie dollar. If you did get into the Aussie dollar, I would hold on to that trade. Right, I'll hold on to the trade. I think that, like Trader X was saying, it looks like it's going to be a swing to the downside, moving as planned. And also, given that it's broken that trend line, given that it's broken that 23.6 level, which we have seen it hold over the last couple of periods since Wednesday. Well, Wednesday was yesterday. Wednesday, now it's broken this level, broken that trend line. If you haven't already got into a trade, I think wait for the candle to close. If it closes something like this, then we could actually be looking at further downside on the Aussie dollar. Stop loss again about 25 pips, take profit about 50 pips to the downside. If it comes to 6688 and it looks like it's going to break, then you could be looking for further downside as well on the Aussie dollar. Might be a retest of that trend line. Yeah. So as in, Diana, do you think it's going to retest and bounce back up, or is it going to retest and then turn back down? What do you think? Is it going to do this or this? Option 1, option 2. What do you think? Option 1 or option 2? What do you guys think? Let me know. Haider says 2, Diana says 2, Ola says 2, BL says stay out. BL, you have to take a view. BL always, most of the time BL says stay out. But yes, I do agree with you guys, most of you guys who said option 2. I do think that, looking at this, it might not retest, but I'm looking for that move, then looking to sell down. Okay. Hey, Liverpool from Sweden, good to see you here. We'll look at the euro dollar. Okay. So Aussie dollar, I would say that 6735, 25 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. Sell 6735, 25 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit on dollar strength. Okay, so I think that would be a good move. That's actually a very nice move. Looking forward to that playing out particularly. All right. Okay, cool. Any questions so far? All good? Okay. Next up, US yen. Okay. I think there was a question. I can't remember the question exactly um, last night, but there was a question about the US yen. Whether we'll be looking to buy or what to do on the US yen. It spiked down. So last night I was like, okay, I'm not going to be looking at the US yen because it spiked to the downside. I was looking to buy it up, but I like the view right now. Okay, you can see that this trend line, if I zoom right out, where is it? Has been started 24th of March, held on the 6th of April. That it's a little bit too early to get into or too late on one end and a little bit too early on another end to get into the US yen. It's too late and too early, right? Why I say it's too late is because you have already given up. It's bounced off that trend line. So we've already moved a good 30 something pips to the upside, 40 pips to the upside. Typically, if you're looking to buy it up off the trend line, you'll be looking for that bounce to buy, right? To trade it up, you'd be looking for a trade like that. So 70 pips to the upside, um, stop loss, 30 pips, you're looking at 1 to 2 to the upside. So it's a little bit late now because if you're looking to get in, then you're looking at 50 pips, 60 pips stop loss, or even if you went 50, 1 to 1, not a great idea, right? And it could just come into this range again and start consolidating. All right, so it might just come up into here and bounce around. So I would say that's why I say it's a little bit too late, and yet it's too early because it's relatively close to that resistance. A lot more patience required for the dollar yen, but I like the way it's moving. Okay, I don't want that. I would say that it would still have to break above that point. So 135.50 before I'll be looking to buy it up. Right, so I'm looking for that momentum to continue before I'll be looking to buy it up, but expecting the yen video not working. Hello, big not working your video. Um, Let me know, guys, if it's working. I think it's working. I think TradingView just went on an offline online again, but it should still be there. All right. Angel Case bought USD at 134.20 this morning. I'm still in that trade. Should I hold on? 134.20. I would say, that's exactly what we are just talking about. I would say that my view, I would hold on to that trade. I think that it could come up to this 135 range. Yeah, quite likely you get to that point. So, okay, guys, if it's not working, refresh. It is still working for most of us. So if it's not working for you, refresh, or you can always jump onto the YouTube stream as well. Okay, I'm not sure what happens on TradingView. Okay, lost my train of thought. Yes, I think it should go up. If it breaks above 135.50, then we could see a big position to the upside, like what we were talking about yesterday. However, I think that the US yen might just do that, before a big breakout. I don't think it's ready for that big break right now. Okay, so in fact, I'll take that away and I'll say yen could range between 134.80 and 135.50. US yen could range between 134.80 and 135.50. All right, but I'm still looking for breakout to the upside. There we go. Look at the dollar. It's tried, doesn't like 61.8. Looks like it's retracing. Still a little bit early. We're still looking for the downside. Okay. Diana says in a scenario will be good to go on M15 time frame for Aussie for a better entry. Yes, I agree. I think you could do the M15, but it could play out quite nicely on the H1 as well. Alrighty. So with that, I pound dollar. You all know my view already. I do think it's going to keep heading to the downside, expecting a dovish hike to come from the Bank of England. Okay, I wrote something up. It hasn't been published yet, but once it's published, I'll share it with you guys in the Discord channel. It is at the key support level now at 1.2580. Looks like it's going to break. Hour close, you could be looking to sell it down. Okay, this will be a trade. I would say this is a short-term trade for now. We do have the news at 7 p.m. GMT plus 8. So you could be looking for the hour to close, say below 1.2570, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 60. Okay, so this is what I would be, hi Bill, how are you doing? This is what I would be tempted to do on the pound dollar is if it trades down, then I'll be, if it does come down, break below that level, I will look to get into that. Hopefully, we'll see the pound dollar do that. Okay, so I'm looking for this, breaks down, comes down to about that point. Then when the news comes out, or just before the news comes out, I can pull this to break even and try for that big downside potential. Right? If we see any comments that we could see the pound dollar drop more significantly. So look like we could front run the news event. And in the worst case, it would be a break-even trade. So 1.2570 stop loss at this point, I would say 25 pips. Take profit, we'll go for 60 or 70 pips to the downside. And then when the news comes out, before the news comes out, if it's in profit, I always get a lot of questions from you guys on what should you do at the news event. I think if it does come down, then I'll move it to break even and try for that big downside. Okay, so 1.2570, stop loss 25, take profit 70. Pound dollar, sell 1.2570, stop loss 25, take profit 70. All right, watch for news, for BOE news release. Spinning wheel goes some second, then happening all times. Maybe it's from Sweden. No good. Liverpool, I'm not sure. It happens to a lot of people once in a while. So check out the link. Do join the link, and then you can jump onto the YouTube video as well. Gold seems it's forming a triple top on monthly historical at 2074. We'll look at gold shortly. Okay, so that's the view for the pound dollar. It's finding that support. If it doesn't come down and trigger, then I'll still hold this view for the Bank of England news release. In any case, all I would do before the news, I would be considering maybe to pull it a little bit lower, just in case there's some volatility before that. Okay, but I'll update you guys before the news in the Discord channel. Euro dollar. Look at euro dollar. This was a trade. that we were talking a lot about last night. I did get into this early, so I caught about a 50 pip move, 40 something pip move to the upside on the euro dollar. Didn't take the whole move. Then I'll take this away for now, just so it's easy to see. We had that, right? So a trade I did last night was about there. I think I got about 46 pips thereabouts. My stop loss was about 20. I think I had about 30 pips just as a standard number. Then and I had my take profit way up there. Went outside of the Bollinger, and I just thought, I better get out of the trade. It could retrace. Then I got out of trade. We were somewhat trading together in the community where I was saying, okay, it's outside Bollinger, it's going to come back in. I was looking to buy on the if it continued to the upside. So I was looking for it to come back in and then rebound and then look to buy. But it didn't play out. It actually came back in again and now all the way back down. Okay, so one good trade, and the Bollinger Band there saved me from a big mistake, a possible big mistake, because if I did get into a trade there, then I would have returned any profit I made almost straight away. So something to consider there, to apply the Bollinger Band as part of your trading setup. So now on the euro dollar, let me just adjust some stuff. It's broken 10943. I think that it could. Okay, so I will take this line away because it's not valid anymore. And you can see that once it goes past this point, I drag this right across. Right, once it goes past this point, we could see it come down to this 109.12, or more specifically 109.10, 1.0910 level. Right? So I think what we could see here on the euro dollar is more downside, slightly more downside, but what I would be looking for is that rebound. Okay, so it's a little bit of a inverse relationship compared to or rather inverse expectation compared to the pound dollar. Pound dollar, we're looking for that big drop. Euro dollar looks like it could push up, but momentum might drag it down. It's sitting right there, so momentum might drag it down a little bit before bouncing back up. Okay, I'll be looking for this move for it to drop 1.0920, 40 pips, tight stop loss, no more than 20 pips to the upside. If this pushes up, if it doesn't drop and it pushes up, then you would be looking for a for a buy only if it breaks above 109.90. Aggressively 109.90, safer would be above 1.10. Right, so the safe entry would be above 1.10. Then you could be looking at a big 70 pip, 80 pip take profit. Stop loss would be about that 40 pips down there. Okay, so two views there on the euro dollar. I will update you guys at the end of the session, before the end of the session, on the euro dollar. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so looking at the pound dollar sitting at that point, then looking at the pound yen, we were looking for it to bounce off, to push up. It didn't happen, didn't bounce off. In fact, it broke that trend line, came down to this 169 support level. Expecting the yen to push up, expecting the pound dollar to possibly push down. Then the pound yen I would, what I'm tempted to say is that it's going to bounce back up, right? I'm tempted to say that it's going to bounce off the support and push up, but we are having in mind the Bank of England with their interest rate decision, looking at some downside. I think this is something that you might want to consider. So 169.75, take profit 100 pips, stop loss. I would say I would leave this till the news. Look for that push up, not right now. Um, I wouldn't want to go 100 pips. I would say it's right in the middle there. So I would say about that 50 pip level. Why I'm hesitating is because it's right in that um, not a great stop loss level to be having. And now that if we look to buy it up, it would be breaking above that 50% level. So buy above 1.169.70, 169.70, stop loss 40 pips, take profit 110. Okay. Yep. So that's the pound yen. Um, that's for Lydia especially. Okay. Euro yen. We'll get back to that after we look at the review of the euro dollar towards the end of the session. US Swiss franc, looking for it to test and trade down. Tested, came back down. That trend line held quite strongly. Now it's pushing up. So the next thing to notice is that it hit this big trend line to the downside, bearish trend line to the downside, and it's holding again. Looks like it's going to do that. So it's going to hit this level and turn back down. I wouldn't, the range is getting a bit narrow, so I think that it's going to do that. So I wouldn't be rushing into a trade. If you had to, then I would say US Swiss franc, you could look to sell towards the end of this session. 89, below 8925. Stop loss 20 pips, take profit at the most 40 pips, back down to that trend line again. Okay. We're experiencing strong pound or weak after the news release. Okay, let me just update this first. US Swiss franc, we're selling below 8925, 20 pip to 40 pips. Stop loss 20, take profit 40. Okay, so Buba, I am expecting in terms of the pound dollar. On release of the news, I'm looking for the downside move. I'm looking for the downside move on the pound dollar, just because I think that they might be hitting the top range or hit almost close to their target level for interest rates from the Bank of England. And I think that there might be comments about a pause of rates, maybe even a consideration of change in voting numbers, but I think that will be a slightly lesser or lower likelihood of that. Okay. But yeah, still looking for that downside, still looking for some weakness on the pound dollar. Then looking at the US CAD, it's still right in the middle there. We were, when we talked about this, looking for it to come down, to bounce off, or trade up and bounce down. It's done neither. Right? It's done neither of that. So take all that away. It pushed up because of the dollar strength, but doesn't look like it's going to sustain. I would say that because of that big downward push, right? Because of the big downward push, I wouldn't be looking to buy this up too much. There is no news on the CAD. So if we're expecting the dollar weakness to come around, then I think we could be looking for this on the US CAD, which means that I'll be looking to sell below 1.3450, so about 1.34635, 30 pips stop loss. Even if it went to the recent low at about 90 to 100 pips, that would be a very nice trade. Okay, so 1.3435, 30 to 100. 1 point sell 1.3435, stop loss 30, take profit 100. Looking for that rejection of resistance level. Okay, cool. Question from Buba on Kiwi CAD and also Val on the pound Kiwi. So we'll do that. Kiwi CAD. What of? Okay. Well, went up, hit that level. So we were just looking at this, I think, yesterday, as it broke above that 0.8496 or 0.85 level, traded up to almost where we had our arrow at 8532. I have to be careful where I draw my arrows nowadays. It's moving according to that. Now retracing back down. It's right in the middle of this range, of that support and resistance range. Short-term scalp, if you were looking 30 pip take profit, 15 to 20 pip stop loss, I think that it's going to come down, but this would be a short-term trade, a scalp, almost like a scalp, not really a scalp, but same thing. Breaks that level, I think we're going to see it come down to that support. Okay, so that level gets extended right across. So Buba, I think Kiwi CAD, I think it could be coming down, given that we're looking at the Kiwi dollar trading down before bouncing back up, and then also the CAD, right, maybe pushing. CAD sitting right there. Doesn't look like it's going to push up anymore. Yeah, I think that this could come down. The CAD could, yeah, it could sit there and push down. So we're looking at some CAD strength, which would fit quite nicely. So I think that would work. Kiwi CAD could come down. I don't think it will break that support at 0.8460. Okay, good. Give me a thumbs up. Give me an okay if it's all making sense to you guys. Just so that I know I'm not rambling on and everyone's lost. Then next up, pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi. Okay, pound Kiwi had a big drop, or continuation of the drop, now pushing back up, testing that support, finding a bit of a resistance at the support. Next level would be below this. I mean, we got a big one there. I don't think that would be reasonable to identify that. Then I would pick something here. I'll pick this level as well. Okay, so how I look at this is on the pound Kiwi, expecting, okay, so a lot of this pound Kiwi especially is going to be dependent on what the pound dollar does later tonight. Hey, you guys are in the UK, tell me what you think about the pound dollar, what do you think is going to happen. But I think in the next 3 minutes, if the pound Kiwi closes like this, pin bar at that resistance level could signal a continuation to the downside. could be looking for a quick trade, 50 pips, 60 pips down, stop loss 30, right? So I'll be looking for that to close out, pin bar at a resistance level, turning down that signal reversal, back down 60 pips on the pound Kiwi. So I'll be looking to sell, and it's happening now. 3 minutes. Wait for it to close. 1.9832. Stop loss 30 pips, take profit 60 pips to the downside. If it breaks that support, then you're going to see significant downside towards 1.9655. All right, cool. Then onto gold. Someone said something about gold. Peter, look at gold's triple top on a monthly. Monthly is a big view. Okay, I see a triple top, 1, 2, 3. All right, I see a 1, 2, 3 there. Moving average is very far away. So we were talking about this yesterday, saying it get up to that 12045 level, upside to 2050. So it didn't get to where it just was shy of that 2050 level. And then it retraced back down. So that resistance level held quite strong. Now showing like some downside, but the dollar index is, because the dollar index is still pushing up. Okay, so I'm still looking for this to continue to the upside. I think that what we could see here, right, it's holding that 50% level. So if it does break this 50, then we're going to see it come back down to test 2000 again, right? So I wouldn't say that big, I wouldn't look at that big time frame, that monthly, but in the shorter time frame, it looks like it will come down to that 2000 level there on gold. All right, so we're looking at this to retrace down to 2000. It'd be nice if it retraces down to 200. I'll buy a lot. Okay, so hour closed. So the hour close, you can see the dollar forming a little bit, push it, going to retrace a bit before pushing back up. See, why is it retracing? Because of the Bollinger, it's shot out too quickly, so it's going to come back in, test this level, right, and then possibly it might come back down to about 101.77 before pushing back up again. I would love to see it just come back in all the way, but I think it'll come back in before pushing back up. Okay, so with that, still that view still holds. We come back to our euro dollar, right? Euro dollar formed. So I'll move this a little bit just to show you why I wanted to wait, because it formed that doji of indecision. Because of this, I don't think that this is going to play out. I don't think it's going to trade, despite the dollar, still looking like it's going to push slightly to the upside. I think the euro dollar is going to find some strength based on the price action. I think it's going to push back up. I would only be sitting here waiting if it breaks above. I think you can go a little bit more aggressive. 1.0990, 30 pip stop loss, 90 pip take profit on the euro dollar. Oh wait, did I write that already? Oh, that's the same view as yesterday. All right, that's the same view as yesterday. Okay, good. Then let's just do a quick review. Right, Kiwi dollar still trading down, still trading to the downside, looking for that possible bounce. Aussie dollar doesn't look like it's going to bounce up, right? I think that if I were trading with you guys right now, I would say in fact, I would be tempted to jump into a trade, right? I don't think it will come down, so I think it will be a trade like that. right? So right at the end of this session, I'll jump in. So about 6730, stop loss maybe 20 pips, take profit 45 pips for it to trade down. If it breaks that support, then we're going to see further downside. Hey Jamil, how you doing? Good morning. So that's a live trade right now. Okay, I would say that's a live trade right now. I just can't jump on and turn on that trade. Um, US yen, I think Angel Case is very happy because the trade is running since there. So about 40 pip move to the upside already, looking at it possibly coming to 135 and maybe even 135.50. So looking for the upward move. Pound dollar, okay, so it's happening. I think it's going to retrace a little bit before pushing down. Um, if you haven't got into a trade already, maybe we'll look for it to retrace and bounce back down. Euro dollar, just as I said, it won't go down some more, it's going down. So you could still look for it to, oops, I got a delivery, right? Could still be looking for that. Um, maybe a short-term trade. If you really wanted to or had to, then bounce off 109.20, stop loss 15 pips, take profit 40, 20 to 40 pips for the euro dollar. I wouldn't do that. Okay, I wouldn't. As much as I think that it's going to come down and bounce back up, let's wait and see what happens at that support. Maybe the momentum could push it all the way down as well. I mean, US yen and Aussie sell directions. Jamil, US yen sell would be terrible. Aussie sell would be great. Aussie sell is working out very nicely. You know, doing a live trade just because I can't enter it, but you know, identifying it there exactly together with you guys. Okay, US CAD. I need to get off this session and start trading already. US CAD pushing up, looking for it to test that resistance and turn down. US Swiss franc testing that resistance, could break up, could break to the upside. I think that maybe you could even be looking at a bit higher, 8930, 20 pips. So look for it to break out and turn back in again. Okay. Any further questions? You know, I'm tempted to do, what I'm tempted to do is that we should do a longer session. We should just turn on the stream throughout the day. What do you guys think? If I just went live throughout the day and then you can just, you know, have constant updates. It's like a daily live trade together with me throughout the day. Let's see whether that's going to work out. Buba says, I want to learn your strategy of trading. I'll be so happy if you can have a live session on support resistance. We'll do that. Yes, I did promise you on the support and resistance. We'll do that, Buba. Just working out some of the stuff. That'd be fantastic. Okay, good. Jamil's on the buy on the US yen. You will be making money there. Very good. Oh, still asking for the masterclass. Hey, maybe we'll do a 3-day masterclass where I just sit here, trade together with you guys live. We just, 10 hours a day. You see me, you get sick of my view. Right? Yeah, it's not just, not just leaving it running, but I'll be talking to you through the whole session. We'll think about that. All right. I just came back and you say stream throughout the day. I'll pay for that to get into your mind. No worries, M leader. If anything comes around, I'll let you guys know. Just need to find some time, find a good couple of trading days, because you don't want to sit around and just be like, oh, no trade, nothing's happening. We'll find a good couple of days and we can organize something that we can sit and trade together. 10-hour stream for 3 days, for 3 consecutive days. How about that? All you have to do is, well, you have to do a lot of things, but for now, click that like, click that subscribe button. Make sure you join the Discord channel. join me on TradingView, join me on everything else. All right. So I need to start trading. I'll talk to you guys again on the trading community. We'll have a chat there. We'll take it beyond this session. Um, Let me sort out the live trading session. I need to set aside 10 hours a day. I need to set aside a lot of other stuff that I'm doing so that I can spend it 10 hours a day. But leave that with me. I'll come back to you guys on that. For now, trade well, trade safe. Bank of England news tonight. Be careful of that. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye bye now.